it's the art of bombing.
As long as you want, because holy shit. Oh my God, my life changed considerably once we moved in. Because before that, I was still living in Indiana. She lived in California, and I was on the road all the time. So we were long distance. We never saw each other, and it was amazing. Long distance relationships are the best. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're a dirty liar. Tell that to their face, because they're awesome. Long distance relationships are so good. Because like how it worked for us, why I loved it so much, we wouldn't see each other for like 3 months. And in that 3 months, if you don't see someone for that long that you want to see, that anticipation builds up. So you get real excited. And then like a weekend opens up. So you get like 3 days to see each other. And if you haven't seen, what? You say she's cheating on me? My hand's a fucking dildo. She ain't cheating on shit.
I'll tell the shorter one first. This is the time that I was heckled by fajitas. So I'm doing. This is probably a year before AGT. So I was the middle. I was featuring for this set. I was with my buddy Mike Merrifield, who's a good friend of mine. He works for 800 Pound Gorillas now. Very funny comic. He's a good dude.
Hey. Oh yeah. I've met him. I actually opened for him. Well, it would have been before the pandemic. Right before the pandemic, I opened for him.
Yeah. Mike's a good dude. Big fan of Mike. I always thought he's very funny. We've got along for years. So I'm opening for him in Kansas City. This is January. So to kind of set the stage of how things were already stacked against us, there is a huge blizzard. The show should have been canceled just for like bad weather. Because a lot of people were like, we ain't coming out no matter who's there. This is dangerous. So because of the weather itself, maybe 9-10 people there, just for that. And then the other factor we had going against us is we were competing right after a Kansas City Chiefs playoff game. So,
oh man,
that they lost, I believe. So either people were now too pissed to show up, or if they did show up, they're mad because the Chiefs lost. So already the stage is not set well for us to do well anyway. I'm doing my set. Of course, this was a club where they did not seat people. So the 10 people who are there are all spread out as far as they possibly can be from each other. So there's no chance you can even build that kind of momentum amongst the small group. I'm powering through my sets. I never phone it in, even when I probably should. So I'm trying. It's not the best set I've ever done, but I'm kind of grasping at straws, trying to figure out what to do here. They're not liking me, which is fine. I'm never mad if a crowd doesn't think I'm funny. They're wrong, but that's their opinion. That's fine. I'm in the middle of a setup. I'm trying to get something to work. I'm pulling stuff out of the archives I hadn't done for years. I was like, maybe I'll do something really dirty. I'm trying to figure out anything. I get in the middle of a setup, and all I hear from the back of the room suddenly is... It was so quiet in the room that somebody's fajitas that they ordered drowned me out, where I couldn't even do my bit without acknowledging it. And again, not mad at the audience. If they weren't liking me, that's their right. They don't have to like me. I was more mad at the club because what club serves fajitas, Dan?
Right?
That's the loudest food you could possibly serve at a comedy club. Like, did they run out of the steak that yells every time you cut into it?
Right.
Like the whole, after that happened, honestly, after the fajita thing happened, the rest of the set went okay because I just basically stopped doing bits. I just had to
just pretty much was like,
I was like,
I'm done.
I was like, we all hate this, right? And I was like, yeah, and then we can kind of just talk as humans, and it was fine. But like that's the first time, and hopefully last time I've ever been heckled by the food directly.
That's like that's almost worse than having comedy clubs that'll have the bar in the back and they'll do like shake drinks or drinks or whatever. It's like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, I
heckled by the environment.
Yep, you just go, all right. I mean, because sometimes you'll get that with just bad locations, like I've been heckled accidentally by, 3 ambulances drove by outside, and it's because you're right against the street, and you can't do anything about that. That's just bad luck. It happens, whatever.
Yep.
I feel they could control what foods are served in the middle of the show.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but the worst bomb I think I've ever had, and this was like almost a quit comedy bomb, because like I think we've all been there. Like no matter how much you love doing this, and I love stand up, if you don't want to quit at least a little bit every few months or so, you're not really passionate, because it means you don't care.
Yeah.
You don't care enough about it if it doesn't make you want to just quit and go become an accountant.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, you gotta hate what you love at least a little bit sometimes. So at this point, I'm probably, I don't know, 5-6 years into comedy. I'm at that point in your career where you start to get cocky and think that you're like really you'll never bomb again, like you're really killing it. Because like at that point, I was starting to become a pretty good middle. Like I was a strong middle that like, oh, sometimes headliners have a little trouble following me. So you start getting this like little swagger, like, oh, I'm untouchable. Nothing's ever gonna stop me. And then I was starting to headline like kind of like bar one-nighters essentially. So I was like, it was my first kind of real taste doing consistent, 45, 50 minutes, very low stakes in the grand scheme of things kind of gigs. But hey, feeling myself. I'm a headliner now, baby. You can't stop me. I'm doing this show. It's in Covington, Kentucky, so right across the river from Cincinnati, at a bar. I think it was called the Beer Cellar. I don't even think it's there anymore. It was booked by, I won't even use his full name because I don't, it's not because I'm like worried about burying him. He's such a scumbag that I don't want him to get any kind of promotion from me. There is he's a notorious douchebag booker out of Indiana who basically everyone he's ever worked for, he has screwed out of money at some point. He didn't screw me out of money until much later, so that's not the point of this story, but he's a douche, is what I'm saying. So he books the show. It's me and him on the lineup. He's going to kind of MC, and I'm going to like headline. I think there might have been one other guy doing a guest set or something. I don't remember. But he's the type of guy, and I'm sure you've encountered these people too. In your you have a shorter career, but you've done this enough to see this, where if somebody like hosts his own show or hosts their own show, if the crowd is terrible and there's nobody there, they'll go do like 3 minutes and maybe not even do any jokes, just bring you up as cold as possible because they don't want to suffer through it. Yep. But if it's a hot crowd, oh, now they're doing a 45-minute opening set.
Suddenly they're headlining at the beginning.
Exactly. And they burn the crowd out and all that. So we get here, 4 people show up for the comedy show, and they were all 4 personal friends of mine. So that was already a little humbling to begin with. The only people who came to the show, 4 people I went to college with. So that was already getting me go, oh boy, this is that's a weird energy to start with. The host guy, the booker, he goes up there, and because there's only 4 people, he's not going to do bits. He's not going to do jokes. So all he did was essentially insult my friends. So it was 2 guys I went to college with and their wives, but I knew them from there. So one of my friends is my buddy Jamal, who is a black gentleman. So he just told racist jokes at him, essentially. And then my other buddy, Brandon, basically just did jokes talking about how much he wanted to fuck his wife. So a good energy in the room already. Like, and he wasn't even doing jokes. He was basically just saying like, I want to bang your wife. Like that was the kind of stuff he was doing. So the stage is already just like, there's no good energy. My friends are pissed now, but they're good friends. So they're going to at least give me a chance. I go up there. Now, obviously, my confidence is shot now because I think, oh, I wish a lot of people would have come to see me headline.
Yeah.
Nobody did before friends. They're pissed, so there's already a weird energy. At that time, a lot of the bits I was doing was like, I didn't talk about my disability at all up front, and I would kind of like, oh, I'm doing these little other jokes and doing this, and then I would kind of do like a big reveal, and it's like, oh, the tension's been let out. Oh, good. My friends already know who I am, so that doesn't work there.
Yep.
So I'm already scrambling to come up with jokes. I'm they're politely laughing, but I'm bombing because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle this unexpected turn of events that I did not prepare for when I arrived. So this in of itself is not a colossal bomb. There's nothing that feels rough about it. It's a unfortunate, uncomfortable night. You move on. Problem is, I'm maybe 20 minutes into my 45-minute set I'm supposed to do. The bar, there's a ferry outside for the river that goes across the river and will take fans to the Cincinnati Reds games. So essentially, it's just like if you're on the Kentucky side, you can park over here, take the ferry over, go to the game, do whatever, drink, take the ferry back, whatever. The Reds are getting destroyed by the Chicago Cubs. It's like 16-4 or something like that. So the Reds are just getting throttled. So it's maybe the 7th inning of the game because, of course, they also left the TVs on in this bar.
Of course.
We can't turn those off.
Not in a bar.
So I know the Cubs are killing them. And I'm a Cubs fan, as you can tell by the shirt. So
yeah.
I'm at least slightly happy with that. But halfway through my set, I see this big wave of white and red come into the door in front of the stage, and it's the incredibly drunk and angry Reds fans
oh no,
left early because they were getting throttled, so they're pissed, and now they're just here to drink. They don't care there's a comedy show going on, and there wasn't enough other people. There was only 4 people, my friends, in the audience, so there wasn't like enough people there to maybe make them be like aware that like, oh, we're ruining something. So let's try to be like, let's go to the back or whatever. Since there was only 4 people, they just think there's some asshole talking on a microphone. So they're just being loud. I'm in the middle of trying to do jokes. They're like, shut the hell up. They're like yelling at me. Because like, and again, I don't know how to handle this yet at this point in my career. I've not had to deal with this type of energy before. I essentially, I'm pretty sure Marshawn Lynch stole this from me because I started doing like I said, I'm like 20, 25 minutes in now. The last probably 15 minutes of my set was just, how much longer do I have to talk to make sure I get paid? It was just varieties of that. And then like what? And then some guy like yelled like, "You suck!" Like, here's the problem. I have a problem, and I've worked on it since. But anytime I get heckled, and this is the reason I don't do online gaming. You can tell I'm probably a video game fan.
Yep.
I don't online game with strangers because if we're buddies and we're gaming together and you talk a little shit, that's fun. If you're a 13-year-old kid who threatens to bang my mother, I immediately go. I go 0 to 100. It is instant. And that's a fault of mine. I understand. I am not saying I am right to do this, but I'm the type of guy who like, okay, you kill me in Call of Duty, and you're like, you suck. Well, I'm like, well, I hope you get cancer and die. Like that's immediately where I jump. It does not make me a good person. That's just who I am. That's way disproportionate to what just happened. That's how I used to deal with hecklers. I'd be the same way. Someone would talk a little bit. I'd like one guy like in the audience. He's like, "Why don't you tell a joke?" I'm like, "I hope you never stop killing yourself." Like that's what I'm like yelling. So that just made them more mad. There, it's the only time. So I power through the last 20. I will give myself credit. I didn't bail. You get hired to do a certain amount of time. You do your time. No matter how, and unless there's an actual physical risk to your safety or like a medical emergency or something, if you're getting paid to do 45, you do 45. Even if you suck for 45, you make that happen.
Yep.
I kept doing like, how much longer do I got to do to get paid? Like 3 minutes. Watching the clock. Okay, how much longer? 1 minute. Did my minute. Set the microphone on the stool. Walked out. I didn't even bother. I just got my payment. Left. Didn't say bye to my friends. I just got in my car and was gone. It took me a few weeks to kind of get that out of my system. But it's one of those things that I did learn something important from it, that because it ruined a couple shows after that because it was just still in my head that this could happen. Mm-hmm. And I learned at this point that no matter what happens at the venue, you have to leave it there.
Good Lord, that's a bold thing. Just because you have trouble keeping a man, leave me out of this, all right? Don't ruin my relationship. What a weird thing to say. What a weird-ass thing to say. I'm famous and have sex toy hands. She ain't leaving shit, all right? So, make me talk about dildo